this stuff, and the standing profile right here. See, and it's a pretty common misconception the way that people talk about it. Is like Tony, for instance, his shoulders are coming forward here. Does everybody see what I'm talking about there? Dave, you see that? Okay. How he's versus kind of sitting back there, you see the difference. This is a better position for him to be in, but that's where he's at normally. And a lot of people, their perception is this area is just stronger than this area right here. Okay, but that's not true. How many?
I gotta read it.
Yeah. How many consecutive pull-ups would you say you could do?
I think it's at 45.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I mean that's a phenomenal number of pull-ups. So to say that somebody who can do 45 consecutive pull-ups has a weak back is ludicrous. That just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What's your 1 rep max on bench?
Bench press is at 275.
Okay. So and you weigh about
175.
Okay. So 175 times 45 versus 275 times 1. You know, obviously this area is not the stronger area of these two. Does that make sense? What's happened is there's just different, his body has just compensated in different ways, and he's gotten used to kind of moving in this position, okay? And whenever you get used to moving in a certain position, like I said before, you recruit muscles differently, and so this area right here is a lot more fatigued and contracted than certain areas back here, okay? And if you really look at it, Tony's scapulas are sitting up pretty high. They're about right here, you know, because what happens is there's the pectoris minor kind of pulls all this forward, and that's something that, you know, really what's happened is Tony just hasn't worked on range of motion with a lot of stuff, you know, that's it. You know, he gets used to moving a certain way and continues to move that way and doesn't ever break that pattern, okay? So that's what our goal is going to be today, is to break that pattern, okay? And most times what creates these muscle imbalances, which is really what we're talking about here, isn't necessarily a one-time thing. It's what we do every day, okay? Dan Gable, who's like his high school wrestling career, he was 160-1, said, if something's important, do it every day, okay? So one of the most common questions I get as far as how often should I do this mobility stuff, if it's important to you, do it every day, okay? It's the kind of stuff where you can do it every day, you know? Because I know for me personally, I'm on my computer every day, you know? I drive pretty much every day, you know? And those are things that are going to contribute to this area getting tight because I'm sitting here, this area tight because I'm typing like this, okay? And you hear a lot of people say, oh, don't go overhead, don't do bench press, blah, 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 that's going to hurt your shoulders. That's bullshit, okay? Because the people who have shoulder problems, most of the time, don't get it from doing bench press, they get it from this, you know, or from this. Does all that make sense? So, like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of start at the bottom and work our way up. And one of the main concepts that I want you to focus on while we're doing this is this concept of time under tension. Okay, it's found that the best way to kind of loosen up this area and doing this stuff is to hold it in specific positions for extended periods of time. Okay, usually a couple minutes. So it's the kind of thing where you could spend 10 minutes on a couple different places, and that's going to do you a world of good. Okay, that's all that it really takes. A lot of people, I don't have time for this, but if you've got 10 minutes throughout the day, which I know everybody does before you go to bed, but, you know, when you get up in the morning or anything like that, that's all it takes. You know, and it doesn't even have to be 10 minutes at a time. It's just 3 minutes here, 3 minutes there, stuff like that, okay? And the way that we're going to conduct this today is I'm going to get you into the positions I want you to be in, and we're going to maintain that for a couple minutes because I want you to feel the difference, okay? I could spend an hour and just zip through a whole bunch of different stretches and things like that, but if you don't see the difference, you don't feel the difference, you're not going to do it, okay? And I wouldn't expect you to, because if it's not making a difference, it's not helping you, and that's not going to be productive for you, okay? Does that make sense to everybody? All right, thanks. All right, now the first thing we're going to do is, I want to make sure I can get this framed right. Go ahead and everybody come up and Can we use this timer right here?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah, let's.
Since we've spent a little time doing this, I want to try to change your perception of what we're doing here. What you feel inside of here is not the band. It's not the band pulling on you, okay? Because you're all strong enough that you can pull that band all the way out here if you really wanted to, and you would not feel anything close to what you were feeling right there. Everything you feel is internal pressure. It's your muscles, okay? And one being in the world controls those muscles. Any idea who that is? Okay? So when you get into this position and you're doing stuff like that, you're telling your body you're in a fight. Okay? And that's not what we're doing here. What we're doing is we're trying to tell those muscles to relax. So what you want to do is you want to get to a position where you feel that limitation. Okay? And you just relax it. Okay? Just kind of let it go. All right? Focus on not controlling it, but relinquishing control of it. Does that make sense? Because a lot of what's kind of happening is you're going, trying to fight it and stuff like that. And it's okay to do some contract, relax in the areas that you feel the tension, but it shouldn't be, forcing the whole shoulder and stuff like that. Does that make sense? So the reason why we're doing this and the reason why you feel the way that you do is because you don't spend time in this position. You spend more time in this position, which is the opposite, right? So you're not going to be injured here. There's no danger or anything like that, okay? What we're doing is basically we're the Goonies looking for Black Bart's treasure, okay? There's going to be some stuff along the way that makes you want to stop, but that's really what we're looking for, okay? So to come here and get to this position and fight it the whole time is almost counterproductive, okay? Just realize, in your consciousness that you control this, and it gets a lot easier there, okay? Just really focus on relax, breathing, okay? And that's why whenever I come up and talk to you, I talk to you real quiet and stuff like that. I'm not like, or anything like that, okay? Relax. Okay, so let's try that other side now.